You might think you're a clever Dunkin' customer by leaving off a certain drink topping or filling up on a seasonal drizzle, but here's what employees at this classic breakfast chain say you need to avoid at all costs. Nutritionists generally agree that frozen coffee drinks are among the worst beverages that you can put into your body, and Dunkin's are no different. A large frozen butter pecan swirl, for example, clocks in at a whopping 930 calories, which includes 185 grams of sugar. It's no wonder that so many employees report being incredibly grossed out when mixing these drinks. As one of them admitted on Reddit, "A regular at my store comes daily and gets a large with 8 pumps of caramel, and I just can't imagine drinking all that." It's worth noting that each flavor pump is about 50 calories. As another employee bemoaned, the frozen coffee is literally liquid sugar and ice with coffee syrup and cream blended together in ice. While the frozen coffees may very well be delicious, we don't like to imagine what they're doing once they're inside of us. Made with espresso and steamed milk, the ever-popular lattes are some of the most beloved drinks at Dunkin'. Their signature caramel craze and cocoa mocha varieties come topped with delectable whipped cream and sweet-flavored drizzles that make them extra special and delicious. But some customers reportedly decline the whipped cream topping, presumably to save on calories and fat. However, Dunkin' workers point out that this is essentially a waste of money. After all, the drizzled whipped cream is the part that contains the flavor, so without it, you're basically paying extra for the equivalent of a standard latte. If that whipped calorie overload is a concern for you, then we recommend opting for a regular latte with no whipped cream instead to keep your wallet and nutritional needs satisfied. Is there anything in this world that sounds better than a bag full of crispy bacon?
It's bacon!
That's why Dunkin's Snackin Bacon is an absolute dream. It consists of a handful of crunchy strips seasoned to perfection, served in a warm, inviting paper sleeve. Alas, though, trouble lurks if you're not careful. Dunkin' workers have revealed on Reddit that if you're lucky enough to snag this meaty snack first thing in the morning after it's been freshly cooked, then all is well. But it's not quite so magical as the hours tick by. According to these employees, the bacon is allowed to sit out for up to 4 hours before new strips are fried up, and it quickly cools to room temperature. It's also worth noting that as grease cools, it coagulates. There's nothing like slimy chunks of grease destroying what should be a wonderfully savory snack. Matcha is a flavor profile drawn from finely ground green tea leaves that's really blown up in popularity. Dunkin' hopped on the trend in 2020 when it began offering up its very own matcha latte. In general, matcha is often considered to be an acquired taste. People either love it or hate it, with not much in between. And according to employees, Dunkin's version appears to fall mostly on the hated side. As one of them put it on Reddit, "I tried making myself one at work, and did I do it wrong? I mixed it, and it tasted like actual grass, and I felt like throwing up. Sorry to be an insult if it's your favorite drink, but it literally tastes like grass, and I'm wondering how you drink that." There are similar descriptions from other employees who note a seaweed-like flavor or a fishy scent reminiscent of decaying foliage. On top of that, the green powder used to mix the drinks contains a warning label disclosing the fact that it contains trace amounts of lead. Dunkin's miniature round bagels stuffed with cream cheese are so cute that you can't help but devour as many of them as possible. A hybrid between a donut hole and a cream cheese bagel, these circular creations come in plain, everything, or chive and onion flavors. But not all employees are convinced that this is a valuable deal. Indeed, some of them claim that they're not at all cost-effective, especially compared with the chain's regular bagels. As one employee disclosed on Reddit, there's a deal in which you can get 2 bagels with cream cheese for $4, or 2 mini bagel bites for $3. Considering the greater surface area of a regular-sized bagel, you're definitely getting a lot more bang for your buck by taking the employee's advice. It may not be as cute, but it will almost certainly do a better job of filling your belly.
Get in my belly!
Multiple Dunkin' employees and customers have complained about their heated breakfast sandwiches having odd artificial tastes. A number of workers have taken to Reddit to report their theories to explain this off-putting phenomenon. Many speculate that it has to do with bad liners or trays that aren't being cleaned as they should, but the most interesting theory of them all points to the turbo ovens used to heat the food. These rapid heating appliances are used in many fast food kitchens, but the downside is the strange flavor that they can sometimes infuse. As one employee revealed on Reddit, "I worked at various Dunkies and can vouch it is absolutely the ovens that are the home of that awful fumed flavor. I avoided being on sandwich station as much as possible, but I knew right away I hated them because of the taste they imparted." Whether or not this is the true culprit, the fact remains that many people find Dunkin' breakfast sandwiches unappealing thanks to their mystery flavor. You might have thought that one of Dunkin's newest specialty offerings, the Ice Spice Munchkin drink, would simply mimic the flavor of the chain's signature Munchkins, but it actually goes beyond that, as it contains actual pumpkin spice munchkins blended into the mix. The other ingredients include cream, liquid sugar, coffee syrup, blended caramel syrup, whipped cream, and a caramel drizzle finisher, and one of those ingredients really makes quite the impression. As one comment summed it up on Reddit, "America runs on a drink with 1,080 calories and almost 200 grams of sugar. I would immediately enter a coma." And it doesn't sound like the Dunkin' employees are particularly impressed, as one of them commented, "It tastes nasty and looks like throw up, has no flavor, and just a weird texture. Don't waste your money on it." Between the ridiculously high sugar content and the not-so-special taste, we can hardly blame employees for keeping their distance on this one.
You and Dunkin', I'm not seeing it.
When you order Dunkin's hash browns, you'll receive a perfect little bag of crispy seasoned potato circles and an aftertaste reminiscent of cleaning products. That may sound bizarre, but customers have indeed complained about a sanitizer-like taste on multiple social media platforms. Various employees have stepped forward to verify these concerns and to provide some possible explanations. Apparently, after being cooked fresh in the morning, the potatoes often sit for hours in the hot hold, which is a warm area for prepared food until it's ordered. One possibility is that gloves aren't being changed after workers clean surfaces, or that the liners used to catch drippage at the bottom of the ovens are bad. As one employee suggested on Reddit, "It's most likely the liners that we cook food on. We don't always change them after every single use, but at a certain point it should be changed, and people don't usually do it. When food, particularly hash browns, are cooked on an overused liner, they come out sort of chemically tasting. It's because the liner is burnt." The annual return of the pumpkin spice-flavored drink lineup is a reason for celebration every fall, and that's certainly the case at Dunkin'. With offerings like the pumpkin spice signature latte and the nutty pumpkin coffee, the popular chain should make for a delicious autumnal paradise. But there's a sneaky culprit that can dampen this exciting seasonal tradition: diluted pumpkin syrup. According to a Dunkin' employee on Reddit, the chain sometimes runs out of pumpkin syrup at its stores due to the perennial popularity of the spiced beverages. When this happens, workers will reportedly then create a half-and-half mixture of liquid sugar and pumpkin syrup to save on supplies until a new shipment can be delivered. This could very well be the root cause of the less-than-stellar flavor in some of the fall drinks. This employee's version of events hasn't been verified through independent research, so it's hard to say for sure if this is indeed what is really happening. But there do seem to be quite a few people corroborating the bland pumpkin flavor, so it's definitely something to look out for. Any loyal Dunkin' customer can readily picture the stacked shelves of inviting, colorful donuts as they walk through the door.
Time to make the donuts.
While donuts are generally considered a breakfast indulgence, the craving for one of these sweet, deep-fried pastries can strike at any time of the day. But seeing as most Dunkin' locations open their doors at 5 a.m., you might wonder about the freshness of the donuts in the late afternoon. Perhaps you've assumed that Dunkin' makes fresh batches in the middle of each day. But according to employees, that is not the case. As one of them explained on Reddit, "We get one donut order around 4 or 4:30 a.m. when I get in, and that's it. Lasts us throughout the day." While the reality of this single delivery appears to be undeniable, some employees note that it has caused problems with consumer satisfaction. One of them reported having to deal with frequently angry customers complaining of stale-tasting donuts by the middle of the day. So the next time you want to surprise the kids with donuts on your way home from work, it probably makes more sense to swing by a bakery that produces fresh pastries all day long. Here's a bit of advice from a comment on the Dunkin' Donuts subreddit. Pro tip, don't buy the iced coffees. It's a tub of diluted swamp water. Get the iced lattes instead. They taste consistent. Sadly, it's true. Dunkin's flavored and standard iced coffees are notorious for having a watery taste due to the excessive quantity of ice melting. And these sorts of complaints come from customers and employees alike. As one of them commented on Reddit, "I don't know, I love the cold brew, but the iced coffee is not good to me. I'm an employee and have no idea why." There seems to be a somewhat universal ill will toward the iced coffees among Dunkin' employees, but fortunately there also appears to be some much more positive agreement that the cold brew coffees or the iced lattes are the way to go when ordering a cold caffeinated beverage. If you must get an iced coffee, employees advise requesting light ice so as to minimize the overwatering effect that will inevitably occur with melting.
I'm melting!
Imagine it's Monday morning and you're headed to a meeting in a fresh white shirt. You raise your piping hot cup of Dunkin' coffee to your lips and tip it back ever so gently to avoid spillage. But then, through no fault of your own, you look down in horror to discover that the front of your shirt is now covered in brown. As it turns out, leaky Dunkin' cups are probably to blame. As one commenter on Reddit complained, "I just can't get over how they continue to get away with leaking coffee cups. Literally the worst thing to have in a moving car is a leaking coffee cup. I no longer go there as much because of that." A Dunkin' employee responded by describing how the leaking vessels cause problems for those on the other side of the drive-thru as well. As the employee put it, "I'll finish a drink, put the lid on, and notice it's leaking. So now I have to make the customer wait longer because I have to transfer the drink to a new cup." Considering all this, it might be a good idea to work a black top into your outfit on the days that you're planning to swing by Dunkin'.